Hey guys, this is Andrei, a certified translator and a real estate concierge. Today we're hunting for properties in Vitebsk. In case you missed my analytics video from a week ago, a brief reminder, prices are 9% up on average since the beginning of the year. Basic best-selling options are 1 and 2 room flats, with renovation preferably, but now that I'm on a second round of shopping here, we bought one flat here last month. I would say that the market is a bit crazy because basic options here, 1 room flats we're looking at, 1 or 2 room flats in a range of $30,000. They're short in number. The private versus agency ads are inadequate because many of them are outdated. So if you shortlist yourself 5 options, you may get one that's still running, which is crazy. And secondly, these people are not good sellers. They're not good businessmen. Negotiation, understanding a guy that may be your customer, your buyer, is not their best skill. The option here we're about to see is a 1-room flat from the late 80s. It's still a Soviet standard of construction, but on a pretty good level. They had some renovation maybe 10 years back, so it doesn't look super new and it's not super ugly either, which is kind of good. There's no immediate concerning points around it. There are no. And in my opinion, this could be the best option of the day. You'll see it yourself now. And the apartment is ready to rock, ready to deal, let's say. And if the buyer has enough money, that could even play their way to adjust the price a little bit, because negotiations are minimal this season too. They quote on average it's 2.5% discounts, and they also say that sometimes the seller actually chooses the best buyer, that the one that comes with cash and the one that doesn't really screw the brain over with, oh, can I get $500 lower? So let's see the next 6 options and showcase the best ones. Thank you for staying with the channel. We're not selling houses, we're selling solutions. Cheers. One of the attractive points about the area where I'm in, it's kind of green. We just turned from a very busy street and the large balcony overlooks that street. And we are in a quiet and green courtyard. And compared to newly built areas, this place here is Soviet era based, Soviet era built. You can see trees that are higher than me. So that's kind of attractive because vegetation is important for man's mindset. And it's also not far from the city center, Luchosa Hotel, which obviously will declare it's in the heart of Vitebsk, is almost a walk away. I'll put some mapping tips over here for you to understand how close, how good, and you may choose it. Again, the city center, guys. I'll put a map tip somewhere here, and it's a short ride from the first option, but a different era of architecture. The 1960s, the so-called Khrushchev houses, Khrushchev buildings. Khrushchev was a politician who wanted to mass supply people with mass market housing. No luxury ceilings, no lifts, no garbage chutes, all the cheap ways, all the most, let's say, cost-efficient techniques. So one of these fellas over here is where you don't really shop over the 3rd floor. It's too much climbing for a modern man. And here we may observe one of our next 1-room options on the 1st floor. The client wanted the lowest as possible, as low as possible. And we'll show you a few pictures in a moment. Generally very central. Center is a walk away. Courtyard is super green, like you living in a garden, which is really positive thing. Lack of parking space, but that's not client's problem. Probably very easy to rent, but we'll leave that up to the market operators to judge on. Let's see the place. as we're struggling through replacing and repushing the views, people being late, us being early and everything. Some central views for your sake. I hope you enjoyed the interlude showcasing the city center. We're now in an almost central area with a pretty attractive, the way it looks, apartment. It's a special type of lodge. We showed it already. They have multiple families living on one floor, so there are many doors in the same level, which may be interpreted as good or bad. Generally, market doesn't take it kindly, so they're cheaper. And this one-room place with a lift may be an option for our client, depending on what we see on the ground. You know, it's never possible to conclude what it is because photographers are doing their damn good job, even with just an iPhone. And the owners do their good job to conceal things like, oh, nobody cares about this little thing, and it's like $1,000 on top, like yesterday. So let's see what we can see out there. The pros of the next area are quite obvious. The area is kind of spread. It's not like overbuilt, although the houses are higher. They're not as green as the previous one, but it's still not a desert like the newly developed areas are. The shortcomings are garages. Maybe we'll get them out of the window. Garages of the people that do not improve the landscape in the first line. Rail track, which is nearby. And the location is averagely okay. I would say a short distance from the center and from the state city polyclinic, which is kind of good if one is elderly. Let me remind you that TRP allows you to be eligible for free of charge healthcare support. Sometimes you have to pay for the medical services just to be sure, but some of my foreigners actually send their kids to school and put their kids or themselves through the state medical institutions, and that's not bad, I think. A short ride again, and the fourth and the last option for today, in a 9-floor building, a little bit more modern than anything we have seen by far. Maybe just the first option could match this. Fairly central, fairly modern, fairly green. Let's see what we can see inside. Just to conclude, let's say make the first conclusion of the trip, guys, don't judge strictly. It's $30,000. The market is at the peak. Maybe it would cost $27,000 a few years back, but right now it costs what it costs. So depending on your purpose, there is a solution. And again, we're not selling houses at LLC SAS, we're selling solutions. If you need to relocate, if you need to rent out, if you need to invest your money remotely or directly, give us a call. Friendly locals, unless they're mistaken, are confirming this place is not the same type like we just saw, multiple families on the floor, so that means it's of higher market grade, so to speak. And again, very central. Shops are just outside there, like one of the busiest streets in town, and maybe this is the option. Let us leave it up to the client to decide. The visa comes out on the 23rd, and I'm praying it's gonna be there. We'll let you know what happens, guys, and I hope you enjoyed the show. If you need to evaluate one of the properties remotely, or 2 or 3 or 4, anywhere across Belarus, get the realtors plugged in, official certified contractors. Please let me know. There is nothing we can't achieve in this sphere. This was Andrei from Vitebsk, northern Belarus. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in Belarus at some point. Cheers. I know I must have mentioned this at the beginning, but things are developing fast. I'll say this again. The market is up and the options are really going through one's fingers. If there's real money involved, the place doesn't hold more than 2 or 3 weeks on the market. If the price is fair, it goes fast. Of course, if there is no complication on either side, the buyer may not have the money, is waiting for the bank loan approval, that could slow down the deal, and the sellers may be looking for an option to upgrade. This may also take a couple of weeks. In the deposit deal, they will say 1 month. So remote deal here will save you time and money, your flight expenses and other things, hotel living, while the place is being cleared for you to buy it and to purchase it. So think about the power of attorney. I'll tell you how it can be legalized in your place, how it can be transported over here, and we can handle it remotely. When the first remote case happens this year, I'll make a video for sure.